Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Welcome to my channel, whether you're new or you're coming back. I appreciate having you all today and I'm grateful to be able to serve you guys and deliver these messages from Spirit. So today I will do a little bit different format. I'm not gonna do my usual oracle deck. I will start with messages from the angels, the angel therapy deck for each of the twins, and then we'll move to tarot. If we have time at the end, I will also post some messages between the twins. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to keep it a small reading, similarly to what I did yesterday. And then tomorrow, as I had some ideas of my own and also some suggestions from the viewers, I am gonna do 3, possibly even 4 readings, like kind of like clusters or group readings, depending on how much of communication do you have with your twin flame. It's gonna be like no communication, partial communication, full union. I might divide the partial communication into 2 parts. We'll see. I'll see what I'm guided to do, but I will do so. You will be able, depending on where you are on your journey, you will be able to pick that specific reading and find out more for yourself. So it will be a little bit more personalized for you. Okay, let's get started. And today I got my Muse tarot deck, so that's a pretty special deck. So let's see what's gonna come out, and I'll use the After Tarot for clarifications. All right, remember that these readings are timeless readings, so that's why I don't put dates on them. Of course, they presume that they have dates because that's when I'm reading energy at the moment when I'm recording them and when I'm publishing them. But of course, if you stumble upon this reading, I don't know, months later, 3 months later, year later, that means there was something here that you needed to hear at that moment, right? Because time is basically non-linear anyway, right? There's no time. And also, of course, pay attention to the names of readings, I would say. So for example, if you're going to the playlist that I usually suggest in one of my playlists at the end, like the end caption of the video. So if you're going to the playlist, you're looking through the readings, you're not sure what to pick, just scan through the titles. I mean, you can, of course, use the visuals, but mostly it will be the titles that will draw you in if there is a message there for you. Okay, let's see what we have for Divine Feminines first of all. Then next week, of course, we'll have New Moon reading. So watch out for that, and I'll be uploading readings by zodiac signs to the Mindful Bamboo channel. Ascended Masters, wow, I love this. This is beautiful. A reminder that the Ascended Masters are around you, Divine Feminine. This is so beautiful. Powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. You are not alone. Imagine yourself among these beautiful creatures who are there to guide you, to help you, to give you signs, to support you energetically on your journey. They're cheering for you. They're your biggest fans. How beautiful is it? I love it. Okay, let's see what we have for Divine Masculines. Shield yourself. Very masculine card, right? That one was a very light worker card, very feminine to me. This is very masculine. Protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. So what it's telling me that Divine Masculine is actually going through it was the karmic situations right now. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. Remember, it can be anything, anyone, where they're learning those karmic lessons. But it looks like they're really going through it. Like either it's like a lot of lessons just dropping onto them at the same time, or whichever lesson it is, it's pretty intense. Like they're having a hard time. So Divine Masculines, if you're watching, please at least visualize that cocoon of light and how you're shielding yourself from any shadow, any unwanted energy. Divine Feminine, it's a sign for you that if there's no communication, or maybe your masculine seems off balance, like, I don't know, confused, could be angry, tired, right? Disintegrated masculine of any kind. It is caused by those karmic experiences that they're going through. It's likely they're not going to tell you about that because it's so intense, and a lot of times it's very much internal, right? Like, I would say that's one of the aspects of intensity, because on the surface it may be something that happened to DM many times before, like in a relationship with a person, for example, right? Somebody was unfair to them, let's put it that way, and it happened before, they've seen it before, but somehow this time around they feel differently about it. It seems like it's nothing special. Like on the surface, with their conscious mind, they cannot put a finger on it. They don't understand why it's bothering them so much. Why is it a trigger? Because they've been through this before and it was fine. Like maybe they weren't happy about it, but it was still fine. No big deal. But this time it is. So it's gonna be, you know, messing with their head for a little while, or they will be with their own head, until they actually grasp it, that they've had enough, you know, it's time for change. Okay, I love those cards. Let's get into tarot now. So we'll use the Muse Tarot for the energy readings. What's the energy like for Divine Feminine Collective today? Of course, I was just gonna say that all of these decks are so different in like the material, the size, so it can even be intense to move, for me as a reader, to move from one deck to another, because I have to use different techniques to be able to shuffle them successfully, not like I'm doing right now, but you know, properly. I'll shuffle a little bit more just because I get quite a lot of cards. Oh, there we go. We got the Priestess. Love this. Love it. What do we have for Divine Masculines today? I'll pull some clarifiers. Yeah, so we'll get some more information. We have the Wheel of Fortune, or the Wheel, in this deck. Love it. The major arcanas today. See, big stuff is happening. And we can tell, right, with all of those. And that's why I guess I was asked to pull the angel therapy cards at the beginning. Not like your usual oracle cards, but actual angel therapy, right? So specifically like message from the divine, because, you know, there's a lot of divine intervention at the moment, at least from the Ascended Masters. What's the energy of the connection? The Chariot, look at that. Another major arcana. That's amazing. I also like how it's, like, for me, it looks like this, the cards, and then, of course, the Divine Feminine. So it's kind of like a continuation of this background into this background. I love when that happens. Like, cards are kind of like floating, like it's fluid kind of imagery from one card to another. Let's clarify the Priestess. I also like that the Wheel of Fortune in this deck has different cycles of the moon. Okay, we'll take this for sure. Please clarify the Wheel of Fortune for the masculines. By the way, don't forget to click the like button on the video, to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, to leave a comment, to share the video with Death. It's been lurking around, yeah. To share it with someone who you think might benefit from it. You are gonna help people, you know, help me spread the word out and for people to get these messages, basically. All right, please clarify the Chariot. And if you're interested in a personal reading or coaching session, do not hesitate to reach out via an email address. And like I was saying, I have that other channel, Mindful Bamboo, where I do monthly horoscopes and sometimes other kinds of readings. For example, next week I'm definitely gonna do the new moon in Virgo for all of the signs, like for each of the signs. And we have the Justice. Look at that. It's like, and here it was Three of Wands and the Tower in reverse. So we basically have like 96% of this reading is major arcana. That's crazy. I don't think I've seen it. Maybe even ever. I don't know, unless you actually pick just the major arcana cards. And on the bottom of the deck, we have 10 of Pentacles, by the way. It's an interesting one. To me, it speaks, it's the After Tarot deck. So to me, this emphasizes that the twins, whatever foundation is being set right now, is not just gonna provide or be the platform for the twin flames themselves, but it's actually gonna create the legacy for generations to come. And in this case, the legacy is represented with this treasure chest. Of course, it's much bigger than just, you know, monetary abundance. It's a lot of stuff, but yeah, it's like, it's almost like it's more important for those generations than it is for our peers. Yeah, and that brings me back to, maybe I'll do a blog article around the generation gap. I have some notes in my diary. I had a few downloads on that maybe a month ago. The whole idea of what the generation gap means, how many years is there, and how it changes with time. Because when I was little, it would be like 15 to 20 years, the generation gap. So if somebody was 20 years older, that would be a generation gap between us, right? If it was less, usually it was like more or less the same. Like 15 years is still kind of a gap. Anything less than that, we're still more or less peers. Then it started shrinking because of how our society moves, the information age, internet, cell phones, all of these technology developments, they are shrinking it. So, you know, when I was like, I don't know, maybe in the early 20s, there was already a generation gap, like if anybody was like 10 years older than me. So like between 20-year-old and 30-year-old, that would be a generation gap. And right now, to be honest, I mean, I'm not even speaking, yeah, I mean, right now, maybe it's still I would say 10-ish years old is the generation gap. If somebody's 20, somebody's 25, that's, to me, that's already a generation gap. From what I see, from what I hear, so it's kind of like, you know, going further, and to me, it's only gonna shrink even more. So at some point, if somebody's 2 years older, they could be like consciously in their awareness, they could be considered, you know, from a different generation, because in those 2 years there would be so much change and so much development that it would be a different world. And it's impacting our psyche and how we perceive the world, how we learn the information. I mean, to me, I feel so old as I'm telling you this, but to me, I could feel that maybe more vividly, because when I was at school, even in college, we still used books, we took our notes, you know, in the uni, we already had the internet, we could use it, we had cell phones, but it wasn't very well spread, to be honest. Like, it was like just getting started, especially in Ukraine. And I still got like, my childhood is basically an offline experience. And it's the truth, no overstatement here, no exaggeration, it's the truth. So for me, the difference between then and now is like magnificent, right? But it stretches along many years. Well, everything is comparative, but you know what I mean, right? But yeah, like I'm saying, like if someone is right now is 20 years old and someone else is 25, there's already a generation gap between them, because there's been so much difference in these 5 years. It's crazy. Okay, moving on. Back to the reading. I was trying to make it short, but yeah. So the Priestess is clarified by Three of Wands in reverse and the Tower in reverse. So Divine Feminines are asked to stick to their spiritual guidance and to what the to what they're basically being advised or recommended to do by the ascended masters at this time, and pay less attention towards what is happening in the physical, or maybe even some plans, because both of these cards are in reverse, some plans in the physical will not pan out the way you wanted them to. And that's okay. This should be accepted as well as part of the divine plan. And you are not to, like, sometimes we're also wondering whether we're supposed to fix this situation, or it just means that this is not for us or not right now and we need to move on to something else. So right now, you're being told that everything happens just as it's supposed to be. So do not completely disregard this. Do not throw it away. Learn from it. Acknowledge it. But don't spend too much energy on like being upset about it or trying to fix it. Just let it go. Let it slide and focus on what you feel is important. And you will quickly understand, if you haven't done so yet, that this wasn't really that much of a priority anyway. So it was removed from your consciousness because you weren't supposed to be spending your resources on that stuff. There's a bigger fish to fry, and it's coming up for you. Whether you already know about it, you're more in tune with your psychic skills, or less so. If you're not aware of what it is, trust that it's coming. Be open to it. The masculine, we have Wheel of Fortune clarified by the Death. So I think this is pretty straightforward message that there is a lot of divine intervention into the path of divine masculine. Is causing them to make decisions they never imagined they would make. So certain events are being orchestrated, certain people come across their path, certain behaviors are being highlighted to them, where they are understanding that they simply cannot imagine acting as their older self, as their previous self, as the same way as they used to treat these situations. It's like it's not even an option anymore, because the death has already happened, to be honest, and that's the after tarot for you. Like, there are already dead people here. That old personality, those old templates are already dead, so it's like it can't even apply them anymore. They're gone. That's it. It's almost like they're erased. It's like you are going back into your mind to dig for something, like how to do it last time, and there's nothing there, like no response. So you kind of need, divine masculines need to make it up almost from scratch, and it inevitably, because the energy is different, it's going to be a different solution, different choices. Other people may notice that, may say something, but again, remember, this is part of the divine plan, and just if you feel any hostility or someone being negative, just use that advice that I mentioned at the beginning to shield yourself from any negative power. For the connection energy, we have the Chariot clarified by Justice. It's just so amazing how we have all this major arcana. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But yeah, you see the Chariot in this deck, there is like this kind of inner voice that's coming out. It's almost like, again, the movement forward is happening, but it's not through the conscious mind. I mean, this is, to me, speaks about the solar plexus chakra. So this is like this internal, and Justice actually confirms it. It's this internal balance and confidence that is helping you move forward. So it's not necessarily how did other people do that, or I need to do my research. It's a lot more from like, I believe in myself and I already have the answers. That sort of approach. And that's bringing justice into the situation, ironically. The fact that you're trusting your inner voice, trusting your inner compass, is bringing in rebalancing of energies and reciprocity. So basically, the natural laws are starting to act more like the loop is much faster, right? And you can see the result of what you invest, what you put in, much sooner. Beautiful. Okay, I don't think I have time for any more messages, so I think I'm just gonna finish here. But thank you for joining me today, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye.